all of our academy members, this is year number 25 for our academies. We've been doing this a long time. The ones who have had the success, and by success I mean winning state titles and medals in high school, some of them in youth and middle school also, and having the opportunity to compete in college. Some of those at the high level famous colleges, a lot of them just at a normal college, which is still exciting. They all had one thing in common. This is what I would recommend. All too often we do nothing and then we freak out and try to do it all. And a lot of you adults do that too, and I've done it too, right? You're like, oh, this is going to be my year, and you get new running shoes, and you're going to have some new diet, and you buy 2 new diet books, and you're all excited, and then you just fizzle out in about 10 days, and then you just give up. And then you get disgusted with yourself, and you say, I'm going to go again. But if you would just come up with a schedule that you could keep and say, I'm not going to run 6 miles, right? I'm going to run a mile and walk a mile 3 days a week. I've got a 25-minute weightlifting program. That's what I do. I'm going to do that next. I don't lift weights for an hour. I don't have time. I literally don't have time. And some people say, you got to create time. Okay, whatever. But you know what? I can be consistent if I lift 25 minutes, put a timer, turn my phone on silent, and I do that twice a week, sometimes 4 times a week. So wrestling is the same way. Schedule yourself to a position where you can have success. And this is not for 5 and 6-year-olds, okay? So turn this off. I don't want anybody saying, you're stealing people's childhoods. Okay, turn it off. This is for the kids who are in middle school or high school who parents have to take their iPad because they'll stay up all night watching flow wrestling and technique videos. They're obsessed. The kids who aren't obsessed are probably obsessed with something else. They may be obsessed with the guitar, obsessed with video games, obsessed with fishing, obsessed with who knows. But the ones, so number one, do you want to do it or not? Yes, okay. Number 2, are you willing to give up some things in life to accomplish this? So if you play baseball, you may not be able to play the super duper extreme baseball where your parents spend 15 grand a year and you play 150 baseball games and you're in a hotel every weekend, right? Those ultra competitive select, they call it, baseball. Maybe you got to play just New Melly baseball, St. Charles County East Baseball League, and then you carve in 1 day a week for wrestling. So as far as the schedule, 1 day a week year round. All of our wrestlers did that. As they got older, they started doing 2 or 3 days a week year round, depending upon the time of the year. I would recommend 3 to 4 competition camps a year for our academy kids. And I would recommend getting very strong. And I would recommend spending 2 to 3 hours a week studying the sports psychology side of wrestling and being successful. So, do you have to wrestle 6-7 days a week for 4 hours? No. Do you have to get up at 6 in the morning and do hill sprints and push-ups and stance in motion for 30 minutes? No. You should sleep in. Do you have to lift weights for 3 hours, 5 days a week? No, that's bodybuilders. What do you have to do? Once a week year round. As you get older, right? During season, you're going to do more than once a week because it's wrestling season. As you get older, probably should be on the mat 2 to 3 days a week. And I think the competition camps, 4 or 5 of those could be a game changer. Weightlifting, you need to be lifting weights extremely seriously twice a week. And if you can carve in 3, do 3. And I think we should start to get some kind of control over our emotions and our mind and understand how the mind works, okay? Like I said earlier, I get frustrated and quit, and then I get frustrated and start, and I got to go too hard. We do that in wrestling all the time. So sometimes it's the parents who haven't figured it out for themselves that the slow and steady wins the race. The aggregation of marginal gains is the secret to life and to success, in my opinion. And doing a little bit consistently year-round is the key. And make your little course corrections. You don't say, oh, this didn't work, I'm going to go do that. I had a dad years ago. I was like, we need to start throwing everybody. Like, what are you talking about? I used to do private lessons with his son. Didn't qualify for state as a freshman. I moved here. So I started doing private lessons. I convinced dad to let me coach him and don't even talk to the kid about wrestling. Undefeated state champ, class 4 in Missouri as a sophomore. So easy to do for him. There was so much chaos and bull crap that I had to remove. We didn't add, we removed from him, from his life. And, and he went on to be tremendously successful. And it is to this day. So, I feel like if you get a schedule that says, okay, I got 7 days in the week. These are the 3 days a week I'm wrestling. 2 of those days I'm also lifting, and then I might lift on a Sunday. Okay, so now I got 3 days a week off to be a kid. Just to hang out, to sleep in. Maybe to do other stuff. Maybe to go fishing. Hang out with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or spend time with the family. You can so schedule yourself to a position where you're going to have success. And stay off of the emotional roller coaster. Stay off of the, wrestle 60 hours a week, quit for 8 months a year. That just doesn't work. Think about the aggregation of marginal gains. Schedule your workouts around your life. Don't schedule your life around your workouts. So if you, as an adult, go to work, maybe when it's nice out, you can walk, a couple thousand steps during lunch. You're scheduling your exercise during your day. Take your kid to wrestling practice. I have parents that do it. They walk around our facility, we have a 10-acre loop. Some of them have joined the strength gym that we have. So okay, well, I'll drop you off. I might as well go work out. Then I'm going to sit in the car and pay bills, right? And then you just schedule it. So it's not, once you interrupt your life, you're probably less likely to do stuff. So kids need to do that too, because it's a life skill. The kids aren't that, well, they are busy because of school and getting up in the morning and all that. But, so if you say, well, I'm going to lift weights immediately after school, twice a week, it's right there. And I'm going to get on the mat once a week after school. Good. Maybe after you lift, you did a double. By 4:30, 4:45, you're done for the day. You're home at 5. You're literally done. You got 2 workouts in, 1 lift and 1 wrestling. Then these 2 days a week, I go to Nick's gym, one of his academy locations, and I wrestle. And this week competition camp isn't going to work, but I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to do 2 in a row. And you just kind of schedule it. And from a sports psychology side of wrestling, you're just basically studying, the books and the videos online. They're all free, right? The videos are anyway. And you just kind of learn to communicate with yourself so you don't self-sabotage, and learn how the mind works, learn some principles to being successful, and it's going to work out for you. Does that mean you're going to win the Olympics or get to wrestle at Penn State and never lose a match the rest of your life? Probably not, but massive success, right? Your goal is to be a top 1%. John Smith told me years ago, your goal is to be the top 5% in the world in everything you do. That's a pretty good way to look at it. He said, Nick, you can't do it all. Find what you want to do and then try to be top 5% in the world, which is probably top 1% in America. So you can be top 1% in America and win 2 NCAA titles. You can be top 1% in America in college and never be an All-American, but you came close. You still had a great career. And I feel like that is vital when we start looking at, being successful and what the definition of that is and what it entails. So schedule, understand the aggregation of marginal gains, learn how the mind works, and you stick to your schedule. Once you stick to your schedule, you say, this is where I'm going to be for the next 6 years. And I have faith that it's going to work out because it's worked out for so many others. I know at Oklahoma State, and this is my approach with our academy, is this. They said, hey, look at that wall. There's All-Americans. There's Olympians. There's Olympic champions. There's NCAA champions. There's World Cup champions. They're all there. You are at a place where you can have massive success. If you are not having success at Oklahoma State University, it is your fault. You do not blame Oklahoma State. You do not blame the coaches. You do not blame this program. You look in the mirror, there's the person to blame. You are at a place where massive success is attainable, and hundreds and hundreds before you have done this. And that's the way I feel with our academy too. It's not for everybody. Everyone's going to stick it out. That's okay. Like Jim Rohn says, some don't stay. You just say, isn't that interesting? I thought sure they'd stay. And then you move on. And that's my approach. You know, the Jim Rohn approach is like life-changing. And I've listened to every Jim Rohn speech at least 20 times. And it's changed my life. But, you know, you're in a place where you can have massive success. You got to figure some of this stuff out on your own. But, you know, there's the key talking points and bullet points of over 25 years. So many of our athletes have had massive success. We're approaching 40 now that have signed D1 scholarships in the past 2.5 years. And, you know, we got a good track record. So thinking about it, that's what I have discovered that all of them had in common. And they had a parent who had it figured out too. Who had the emotional stability to handle the stresses of having kids who are in like this high stakes goal chasing. It's high stakes. There's a lot here. We're putting a lot into this. We're chasing high goals and we're putting a lot into it. It's high stakes. There is a lot to lose. Not everybody has the emotional stability to do that as an athlete, and not all the parents have that either. So, you know, we got to make sure that that we have what it takes as adults too.